Developers ignored my request for unlimited free money, so I am doing this video with criticism to Whiteout Survival. Just joking. If seriously, today I want to talk about problems of game and company and hope they will develop further for better players' experience. In the end, it is not top and problems are not put there by importancy. Approximately developers made around $50 million last month or last 30 days. You can see comparison to other similar pay-to-win games. So they have money to fix all these problems, and I really don't understand why they don't reinvest this money into their games. First problem is lack of ideas. It's not a secret that all these pay-to-win companies have a lot in common because they are related. For example, Whiteout Survival is published by Century Games. However, you might find that Whiteout Survival has too much in common with State of Survival. The reason is simple. By scrolling web, you can see that Century Games, or formerly D'Andean Interactive, was part of developing that games. They worked with King's Group on State of Survival and Kings of Avalon. Their companies might be registered in different countries, but their headquarters are based in Beijing, China. For your information, purchases we make in their app still goes to D'Andean Interactive located in USA. So it's not shocking that they have same events, same game mechanics, same development view. However, for a game that made over $500 million within 1 year of release, it sounds very cheap. Also, I think that new game Bash Brothers was talking about is related to Century Games. For now, I can find nothing about publisher of that game, which is already suspicious, but when their revenue will get higher, probably there will be more information. So let's talk about lack of ideas itself. First, almost every event you have in Whiteout Survival was released in State of Survival long time before. Even latest event called Canyon Clash is named King of the Hill in State of Survival. It was released not so long time ago in both games, so I am suspicious that both this game still have some kind of agreement on sharing their mechanics. For me, as for player, it means that I am not playing something original and unique, which affects gaming experience. Yes, there are hundreds of pay-to-win strategies. In medieval, in zombie, in cowboy, and other thematics. However, most of them have events that belongs only to them. Things that make game itself something unique, something with soul, even if they are made just for higher revenue. Personally, I offered many things that could make game more active and more interesting. For example, they could make fight around strongholds more interesting. If they just make it like little state versus state, there would be way more action in game. So, during this event, two states open road to each other and can fight around strongholds of each other. Wouldn't it be interesting? Even if no city attacks, it would greatly improve interaction between alliances, even from different states. Problem number 2 is support. I think I was right when I said that they give support work to outsource company which deals with customers. In all similar games, support system really sucks, but in Whiteout Survival it's special. They really don't know how game works and don't bother to ask game itself. For example, it's my experience with VIP support. You can see clearly how I asked questioning and further gave my answers. However, support was saying that there is nothing abnormal. Further, they didn't thank me or didn't even apology for bad experience our states had. Later, they just removed Philly skill and considered this theme as closed. There are other cases. For example, I saw how players ask support if size of march affects statistics of players, or how lethality and other stats work. Often they just avoid answering by saying that developers hope players define for ourselves how it works. But when they give answers, it becomes even worse. Thing I like about them is quite fast answers, but their accuracy is total garbage. They give fake information and lead to misunderstanding of mechanics for players, which, considering next problem, makes game even more messed up. And I really don't understand what is VIP support and what is difference of it from in-game support. There is not special about it. In chat with them, I don't feel like I am player who spent over $20,000. They often just ignore my messages and don't pay attention to players' wishes. Next problem is developers keeping players in ignorance. There are several things about it, but most important for me is battle side. First, they don't explain how skills work. What is dodge, crit, and other skills without any description? So I question myself, are they really different skills or same skills as damage but with different name? Second, battle reports in game. I really don't understand game because of it. Often it feels like just joke on players. Why developers simply don't add turn-by-turn report like in Rise of Kingdoms, or battle animation and report like in State of Survival? Or why can't I even see what kind of troops and in what proportions, for example, my lancers killed? Knowing how many and what kind of troops were killed by my units would greatly improve understanding of battle and player experience. Instead, we have totally messy random number generation skills which we don't understand. For me, it looks like developers are in love with casino, making battle outcome depend too much on random. In next part, I explain why. Here I want to talk about pay-to-win elements of game. It is not a secret that good monetization system allowed this game to get more than $500 million income. However, it is good for developers and investors. But as players, let's look from our perspective. Gamers in such games are driven by competition with other players, which leads to high spending in game. For example, seasonal events like Halloween, New Year, and so on. First, you can spend few dollars to get packs with March skins or profile frames. And to win city skin, you can just spend few $100s. It surely depends on your state and amount of whales, but idea is simple: spend more money and get skin. Other than that, there are a lot of random elements. Before talking about them, I need to remind some event that happened on Chinese markets. You might know that kids have a lot of limitations there about playing games. Last year, Beijing wanted to ban games in China from using daily rewards and other elements like loot boxes. Since its common elements of pay-to-win business models, stocks of Chinese developers rapidly fell in price, which made Beijing to think twice. There are many psychological tricks and other stuff that such companies use to make players spend. If you research yourself, you can find essays and research about them and their effect on gamers. I am not saying it's bad. I am saying that I don't like developers going too greedy on it. You might remember how they announced state transfer event, which would cost players over $1,000 to change state like they were having real flight from Europe to Japan. What is it if not greed? And let's talk about random elements. As casinos, they use gambling addiction of spenders to get highest income. Starting from little events like Frosty Fortune, Maya's Hut, and ending with highly dangerous rolling dice event. And I am calling it highly dangerous for a reason. When it was firstly released, I noticed how many people who are not really high spenders overspent on this event. After such a nice start, developers made this event come more often. I am not saying that they are responsible, but as player I am worried for mental health of people I play with. Other than that, I don't like pay to win in combat. There are not so many heroes you can play around to beat stronger players. For example, Philly and Patrick's were a great combination which made game more strategy focused. Now it's Lynn and Wallace. Other than that, you just have to use heroes for their widgets and stats, while skill heroes don't make much difference. In my opinion, it should not be hard to hire specialists in mathematics and programming focused on games to add new unique skills which really would make combat more interesting. I am pretty sure that all of it will be getting only worse in future. So if you have problems with spending and often overspend, please rethink twice about your further gaming. I don't want people to become anxious, stressed because of games business models, so I am trying to aware you. You might already know Bash Brothers' situation. Player was probably first content creator in this game. He plays in first state, so he is playing this game for more than a year and creating videos. He was pissed off by the fact that game became routine for them. Same event, same enemies on SVS, and no new gaming experience. They felt forgotten and being ignored, which I already talked about in previous parts. Nobody hears you. And developers ignored him till he saw a new game which was copy-paste of Whiteout Survival, but in RAF thematic. We can clearly see how that game had same hero skill icons, mechanics, drawing style, and so on. I doubt that any code was leaked. Obviously, no developer would do it easily. In my opinion, it is just another company located in Beijing with connections to King's Group and Century Games. So instead of explaining everything to players or giving proper answers, they decided to ban him in Discord since he was spamming. Instead of hearing him and understanding, they just ignored him. I don't understand how they can't see importance of developer communication and building trust with the player base. If you want to run game for long, please just be open with your players. Such actions can only neglect among players and make them frustrate. I really don't understand why developers needed to ban instead of muting him, unless they had such experience in previous games and decided to cut losses before it went too far. As it comes to my personal experience, it's quite okay, but still, I don't think it's fair. Shortly, I wanted to give away one account I had to some players who would like to play actively with me and published it under my video. For that moment, I didn't think that it is something illegal, since in Discord mods chat they were freely discussing one of Top Wales King giving away his old account to someone else. I didn't pay attention to it, but now I understand that sharing account details might lead to ban. However, I know many players both in my state and other states who have access to other players' account. I thought that, like in my previous game, sharing account stays on players' responsibility only. But I guess developers are afraid of losing income due to people selling their cities. You can see how hard it is to unbind game binding in comparison to other games where it is simpler and faster. So know for future, if you give away your account, it might get banned. I understand that developers are chill with it, and they took my Discord role only because I was like public face for their game. However, it ruined my positive experience in making videos. My main videos take more than 5 hours to just edit. I was doing them quite often for my lifestyle. I was always helping players to seek answers that developers don't give, helping them to spend wiser and see beautiful side of PvP experience. And instead of supporting it properly, they just take my role away after first mistake. Personally, I don't care about rewards. But again, I put a lot of efforts in helping Whiteout community, which was ignored. I am not saying that I am right in my case, but in combination with previous problems, it really ruined my wish to play and develop community. Other than that, I am in contact with other creators of guides. Some of them have same feelings as me and they don't feel being part of community. It is a problem since they build community guides, wiki page, and just help players. For next problem, I hate it so much. You can feel it fully during SV Sunfire battle, when you have to lower every setting to be able to play. Personally, I play on iPhone 13 and I don't think that I need better phone for playing mobile games comfortably. I never had problems in AAA mobile games like Call of Duty or Valorant, and I didn't have such problems in similar strategy games. Even for 10 hours playing, they doesn't overheat and crash like Whiteout Survival. And it really makes Sunfire battle frustrating and annoying to play. Not to mention there are people who play on devices that cost lower than $300. Each SVS we have people who have to go off because their phone battery died and their phone are too overheated to charge. I am not specialist in it or anything else, but I really believe that with such high revenue you can spend little more money on optimization. Next problem is very close to older states. Did you ever feel like there is nothing more to do in game? Did you get bored of repetitiveness of daily routines in game? So one of reasons is lack of side quests. You remember how game starts, you have nothing, you upgrade, open new era, get more survivors in your city, make them feel comfortable and so on. It was decorations, and after Furnace 30 they are just gone. Nothing much to do in PvE side. I don't understand why they can't add achievement system and more side quests. For example, achievements for gathering resources, killing troops, killing monsters, healing troops, and so on. They should have few levels, and after finishing final level you should get some skin and other stuff as reward. Other than that, I don't understand why rewards on most of events are so undervalued, especially in events where free-to-players can get higher ranks like in Frostmine event. Rewards are won by whales who don't really care about them. It creates zero motivation for players to be active in most of events since there is nothing much they lose, except interaction between players, which leads to players quitting game due boredom and death of states. You can see it in other things like keeping login streak on VIP, which will be stuck on maximum of 500 VIP points claimed per day. Low motivation to play for free-to-play is okay in gacha monetization strategy, But after they are gone, there is nothing to kill and play with for whales and mid-spenders, which makes them quit. Thanks everyone for watching. Leave your opinion in comments about this problems and I wish you best gaming experience game can afford.